One word to describe competing for SFU is tradition.
My word is success.
Determination.
Experience.
Inspiring.
One word to describe competing for SFU is excellence.
It is family.
Passion.
My word is pride.
Opportunity.
My word is patriotic.
I am Sophie Swan.
I am Adam Jones.
I am Peyton Smith.
I am Justin Guerin.
I am Victoria Saunders.
I am Braden Charlton.
I am Michaela Guerrero.
I am Graham Miller.
I am Christine Howlett.
I am Adrian Vanderhelm.
I am Michelle Waters, and we are proud to be on Canada's NCAA team.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for watching this special Tuesday edition of Simon Fraser University Men's Basketball on Clan TV. I'm Howard Samura, coming to you live from the West Gym atop Burnaby Mountain, wherever you happen to be watching us on the World Wide Web. Thanks for tuning in for Simon Fraser Clan Men's Basketball. A big game today for the Clan, who will conclude a three-game homestand tonight with a game against Western Washington, the undefeated Western Washington Vikings, sitting atop the GNAC standings at 6-0. We'll have more on the visitors from Bellingham in just a moment, but first a recap of the Clan's last game, and it was a heartbreaker on Saturday night. If you were watching on Clan TV, Northwest Nazarene hit a free throw with a tenth of a second left in the game to cap a dramatic second half comeback and hand the Simon Fraser Clan a heartbreaking 82-81 loss on the home court here at the West Gym. The Nighthawks came back from two 12-point second half deficits to steal the victory from Simon Fraser University. Kadar Salam followed his 40-point performance on Thursday against Central Washington with 27 points on 11 of 22 shooting. Also grabbed 6 rebounds, had 5 assists in 34 minutes, and for that effort earlier yesterday, in fact, Kadar Salam named the GNAC Player of the Week. So huge honors for the Simon Fraser senior guard, Kadar Salam, the GNAC Player of the Week, heading into tonight's game against Western Washington. Fellow senior Isaiah Sherman-Newsom had a double-double, 15 points, 11 rebounds, and J.J. Pankratz, the senior from Yale Secondary in Abbotsford, 14 points and a couple of steals for Pankratz. Off the bench, Othniel Spence contributing 13 points. And as a team, Simon Fraser went 31 of 63 from the field, 11 of 26 from deep, and got 15 points from its bench. With the defeat, the Clan now 8-6 overall on this season, 2-4 in league action. And they will look to regroup tonight against Western Washington, led by head coach Tony Dominguez. And Coach Dominguez taken over the year after, I believe, they won the national championship, the National Division II National Championship a couple seasons back. This is a supremely talented and huge, size-wise, Western Washington team. And they are the Clan's travel partner. And so last week, the Vikings faced both Northwest Nazarene and Central Washington. Against the Nighthawks, Western Washington scored the game-winning layup with 13.9 seconds remaining and then blocked the potential go-ahead basket with 4 seconds left to earn a thrilling 67-66 victory. 2 nights later, 3 Vikings recorded double-doubles to lead their team to a 77-67 win over Central Washington Wildcats, and that game really closed down the stretch drive as well before it became a 10-point victory for Western Washington. Both of those games won on the strengths of Western Washington's great defensive performance. They are off to, as we mentioned, that 6-0 start in league play. They're 4-0 at home, 2-0 on the road, just ahead of Western Oregon, sitting in second place at 5-1, and Seattle Pacific at 4-2. The Vikings have won 14 consecutive games against GNAC opponents dating back to last season, and it is their first GNAC season starting at 6-0 since opening the 2012-13 slate with a 15-0 record. So you know, with the great teams Western Washington has, this one ranks right up there alongside of them. And it will be a really tough one, obviously, tonight for Simon Fraser, now sitting at 11-3 on the season. We'll take a look at those GNAC standings, and you want to talk about parity? We talked about the big three, Western Washington, Western Oregon, Seattle Pacific. You see them all riding win streaks, all sitting in the top 3 of the GNAC. But after that, there is so much parity from Central Washington, Simon Fraser, and Montana State Billings at 2 and 4 to St. Martin's, Alaska, Northwest Nazarene, and Alaska Anchorage, all at 3 and 3. And you really could say, with any kind of luck, Simon Fraser could be 4-2 instead of 2-4, sitting right, and they would actually be in third place. If they had won the overtime game against Seattle Pacific, which they had a big lead in late, on December the 30th, and were also able to come away with that win. They actually had a 14-point lead in the second half in their last game on Saturday against Northwest Nazarene. If they had held on and won that, they would be 4-2, and they would be in third place because they would have the tiebreaker over Seattle Pacific. That's the kind of season it's been, and it's been a season of renewal, a season of rebirth for head coach Steve Hansen's Clan men, who tonight take on these Western Washington Vikings. We should look at some of the top Simon Fraser players this season. As we mentioned, Kedar Salam being named the GNAC Player of the Week this week behind those two impressive performances, 67 combined points in the two games, the split against Central and Northwest Nazarene. He leads the way on this team overall at 18.1 points per game. J.J. Pankratz sitting at 15.5 points per game, and Isaiah Sherman-Newsom at 12.6 points per game. The three seniors on this Simon Fraser men's basketball team are the three leading scorers and the three double-digit scorers on this basketball team. So a good indication when you're being led by the players that are supposed to lead you. And looking at some of the research, this is the most consistent lineup season to season that this Simon Fraser Clan team has had in its NCAA D2 existence from one season to the next. There are 6 different players from last season on this team, but one of them is a new player who's injured, and 5 of them are redshirts as well. And you see them standing underneath the Clan basket right now as they watch the starters going through the paces. This team has returned virtually, in terms of its players on the floor, virtually intact from last season. Jordan Muir-Kyung is the one player that has really been the new guy out on the floor with this group, and he's played well as part of what's only been an 8-man rotation the last few games for head coach Steve Hansen. Some of the thoughts from some of the people we've talked as we walked around the West Gym here in the moments leading up to this contest is, don't be surprised to see a very close and competitive basketball game here tonight. It's a Tuesday night special, as we said off the top, a little out of the wheelhouse for both of these teams. But based on what Simon Fraser has done, and if you want to look at common opponents, it's easy to do with this team because they are travel partners, and think that Northwest Nazarene almost beat Western Washington and barely beat Simon Fraser, and that Simon Fraser was a decisive winner over Central Washington, and Western Washington was pushed until the late fourth quarter stretch drive to beat the Wildcats. So just based on those, you would think if Simon Fraser can maintain some consistency and can play the full 40 minutes tonight, they should give Coach Dominguez and company a game down the stretch when it matters most. They should be in a position to be competitive in this basketball game, and that's all you can expect for a team that has struggled over the past few seasons like Simon Fraser has and was picked to finish as low as they were in the GNAC this season. So we will see. We're about a minute and a half away from the start of the game, the anthems and the player introductions. We will let you know the MEI Screaming Eagles are in the house today. And if you are a sports fan, a basketball fan, and you live in the Fraser Valley or anywhere in the Lower Mainland, you're going to have seen in the past likely the MEI Screaming Eagles, easily the most well-known, and boy, what a comprehensive marching band they are. They play with such fervor, and it was great to see them in the warm-ups before this game tonight as they get ready to entertain the crowd as we greet the officials here today courtside at the West Gym. Simon Fraser, of course, will embark on the road trip following this homestand as they will head up and play Thursday and Saturday, the big trip to Alaska, set to meet both Fairbanks and Anchorage. Well, excuse me, that would be the week after. They, on January the 11th, are at Montana State Billings. Getting ahead of myself. They're not going to play that many games this week. January the 11th, it's a 6 o'clock start at Montana State Billings, and the 18th and the 20th of January at Anchorage, and then at Fairbanks against the Nanuks for 8 and 3 p.m. games, respectively. And they will return home on January the 25th, a 7 p.m. game, a rematch against Seattle Pacific. Can they keep it all together for the full 40 minutes and get a victory against those Falcons? We're headed to the buzzer now, and we will leave you for the MEI Screaming Eagles, the national anthems, and the player introductions. I'll be back with more from the West Gym in just a moment.
And welcome to the West Gym for tonight's game between the visitor Western Washington University Vikings. And your Simon Fraser University West. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we do ask that you please rise and please remove all caps and please welcome the Screaming Eagles Marching Band, led by Chad Joyner, Karen Creighton, and 60 students from grades 9 to 12 at MEI High School to perform the American and Canadian national anthems. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, the MEI Screaming Eagles Marching Band.
And we are back with you here at the West Gym, the MEI Screaming Eagles. Great renditions of the Star Spangled Banner and O Canada for the fans here at the West Gym. We're now going to get down to the player introductions and some news to pass along courtesy of Western Washington Sports Information. Before this game, the Western Washington Vikings had started the same starting group for 14 straight games this season, and that streak will come to an end. A sprained ankle to Logan Schilder will keep the 7-foot center, the junior out of Bellingham and the Whatcom Community College transfer, out of the lineup today. So no Logan Schilder in his place. It will be Sean Rojas, the 6'6", 200-pound redshirt junior. So Rojas in for Schilder. And the rest of that group will remain the same for Western Washington. And they will be Dalton Hamas, DeAndre Dixon, Trey Dreschel, and Trevor Jasinski. As we mentioned, Rojas into the lineup now to start this game for Western Washington. Simon Fraser now being introduced, and it starts all with the point guard, number 20's Michael Provenzano. And the crowd favorite here at the West Gym, Michael Provenzano, as he comes right by our broadcast location to say hi. Michael Provenzano, terrific season last year, and now in his redshirt sophomore season out of London, Ontario, and the transfer out of Lake Superior State. As well, Tyrell Lewin, number 23, the big man, playing some real consistent, solid minutes in the front court for Simon Fraser. As well, Isaiah Sherman-Newsom, one of those other valuable front court swingman, wearing number 14, an Alaskan native in that starting group. JJ Pankratz as well, another senior out of Yale Secondary School in Abbotsford. And the GNAC Player of the Week, the UBC transfer out of Toronto, Ontario, is number 11, Kedar Salam. They are your starters for the Simon Fraser clan, who come into the game with a 2-4 record. Western Washington, the leaders in the GNAC at a perfect 6-0, but really got a push last week from both Central Washington and Northwest Nazarene. Same two teams that split with Simon Fraser up here at the West Gym. So we're ready to get this Tuesday night special underway. And DeAndre Dixon, the 6'9 senior, will jump against JJ Pankratz of the Simon Fraser clan. Dixon with the win there on the tip to number 25, Dalton Hamas. And number 10 is Rojas, the redshirt junior out of Santa Rosa Junior College. Early jump shot on the mark quickly for DeAndre Dixon, wins that opening tip and gets a nice look at the basket for a 2-0 Western lead. Salam from the elbow, fading, and he's going to rattle one home as well. Thank you very much. Kedar Salam nodding the game at 2. That's Hamas, number 25. Little skip on the baseline there to Jasinski, and he is going to feel it from behind. And the foul being called there against Isaiah Sherman-Newsom. So Jasinski getting to the free throw line. As we mentioned, that terrific start at 6-0 in the conference for Western Washington. And Jasinski making good on the second for the 3-2 lead. Salam already with 2 points in this game. Red hot tempo he's set the last couple of games. Sherman-Newsom from the free throw line. Ooh, goes in and out for the senior. Here's Jasinski again, this time straight path to the basket, and wow, he is inviting contact in the painted areas, and this time JJ Pankratz will get called for the foul. That will be the second team foul, drawn by Jasinski, number 24. Jasinski, a 6'7", 220-pound sophomore at Camas, Washington. Making them both for a 3-point lead here for the Vikings. Another solid crowd here in the West Gym, watching Kedar Salam hit from 17. Kedar backpedaling and so confident shooting that basketball, as you can see, number 11. He's got all 4 Simon Fraser points here in the early going. We're 90 seconds in. Battle down low there, Hamas battling to the basket. The Linden Christian grad couldn't score the basketball there. And you're the Simon Fraser bench right near our broadcast location here courtside on Clan TV. Sherman-Newsom from the elbow off the front of the iron. Tyrell Lewin chasing down a loose ball but can't get to it in front of Rojas. That's Dreschel, number 5. Western Washington coached by Tony Dominguez, the head assistant coach, David Dunham, as well Bob Hofstetter and Matavio Jude, the assistant coaches. Bit of an alley-oop there for JJ, and Pankratz is going to lay it up and in on a great move there in the Clan. Executing in the half court there, a 6-5 lead for Simon Fraser. That time the shot hoisted off the mark by Western Washington. And as we mentioned off the top, the 7-footer, Logan Schilder, the center, out of the lineup with a ankle injury. But boy, you look at the overall height Western has, 1.5, and they are a big, big basketball team underneath Dalton Hamas, getting some position underneath to give his team a 7-6 lead. Pankratz is going to get the ball back after it was batted unknowingly by Jasinski. This time it'll go out of bounds, and more of that defense Western Washington used so effectively at home last week. Western Washington held their two opponents to a combined 38.2% from the field last week. And we're talking about those wins over Central Washington and Northwest Nazarene. That is bearing down. Here is Kadar. He will knock down the triple. Kadar Salam is in some kind of zone. It's one of those ones that is going to last through a number of breakfasts and dinners and West Coast rainstorms. He is hot game in, game out the last 3 or 4 games here. Salam taken to the court there, no foul called. And out of control is Dreschel. Provenzano now takes control. Turns a sharp corner. And uses a forearm shiver, and he's going to get away with it right in front of the official. Provenzano looked like he was in the wild card playoffs on the weekend there as he extends the straight arm right into Sean Rojas. You'll watch it right here. He's going to just get that mid out, push Rojas out of the way, and lay it up and in right in front of the official. And no call there. Well, if you can get away with it, maybe good on you. I don't know. And those calls might catch up to you later in the game, so Provenzano got one. Here's the great alley-oop on Clan TV to JJ Pankratz, and our camera crew doesn't miss a beat here. And look at that great shot of the MEI Screaming Eagles band. They are a musical outfit near and dear to my heart, and I had a chance to chat with their director before this. I got to give you my Varsity Letters podcast, which I hate to say I haven't done it in about a year, and our producer engineer Gabe Lynn knows all about it, but the theme song was written by these very MEI Screaming Eagles. Chad Joyner, you can see him, the musical director right in front, penned the tune for me, and I used it on Varsity Letters for a couple of years, and when I resurrect it, you will hear Varsity Letters theme music written by the MEI Screaming Eagles band. It's called Generation Next, and it's a great piece of marching band music written by Mr. Chad Joyner. Great to, and that is him right there, Chad Joyner. What a great look at him by our Clan TV cameras. And what a great job he does. He brings the genuine feel to basketball games around the Lower Mainland and the Fraser Valley. When the MEI Screaming Eagles are there, you know it's a big game. And kudos on the Simon Fraser Clan to have the Screaming Eagles in the crowd today. And they're adding to this great atmosphere in the West Gym. GNAC men's basketball. Back to live action. And the Vikings, trailing by 4, have the basketball. Coming out of that timeout, certainly they want to get some rhythm offensively. As we mentioned, playing without the big man Logan Schilder in the middle. They instead go underneath, get a great clean look from Hamas underneath, and Dalton lays it up and in to make it 11-9. We're just past 4 minutes into this contest. Provenzano, Dreschel out to guard him. Instead they'll go to Kadar Salam, playing catch with Sherman Newsom. This time rears up and lays down another triple. There is no stopping Kadar Salam. I believe Salam's got 10 already. I could be mistaken, but I think he's got 10 of the 14 for Simon Fraser in the early stages of this basketball game. Certainly the GNAC Player of the Week honors, well-deserved. Maybe he's going to win it 2 weeks in a row. Jump shot is off the mark there. 3 Clan players go up for the rebound on the miss by DeAndre Dixon. It's brought down by Pankratz. Provenzano running the point. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Pankratz taking possession. Shot clock now down to 10 as Pankratz muscles his way to the basket for a layup. JJ Pankratz bringing strength to the position this season. And you see how he uses that physicality. Dreschel trying to score it underneath, and reply is going to come up short. And here comes Salam and the Clan. Kadar will pull up. Why not? Oh, too strong off the back iron. Lewin with a great job. Tyrell Lewin on the floor. And a tough break for Lewin. He's going to get called for the travel as he falls to the court in the turnover. But you take that knowing Lewin's on his game off the offensive glass, and that's what you want from big number 23. Tyrell Lewin, 6'8", 210, a junior out of Toronto, Ontario, Bill Crothers High School. Ooh, and Rojas is going to get called for the travel there. Rojas, their sixth man, has come off the bench to get his first start of the season. And Rojas and Trey Dreschel will take a seat, Trey Dreschel. And in now our number 2, Blake Fernandez, number 3, or number 4, check that, Brad Wallace. So Fernandez number 2 and Wallace number 4. A couple of guards have now checked into the game for their first appearances. Salam this time right over the goal and into the arms of Dixon. Very quickly down the floor comes Jasinski. Sherman Newsom doing a great job on him right in his face, but Jasinski, one bounce, fading, knocks down the jump shot. 16-11 the score. Provenzano, skip underneath the Lewin, runs out of room, kicks back. Bingo! Knocks down the big triple for Isaiah Sherman Newsom. 1911 Clan. A good sign for the Clan, getting contributions from everybody in the starting group right now. And there's Lewin playing some hard-nosed defense, getting a hand on the basketball. He goes to the pine along with Jasinski. And the veteran Brett Kingma now checking into the game as Coach Dominguez going with a real guard-oriented group, but this will be probably about as small as Western's going to go, with Fernandez, Kingma, and Wallace now on the floor, along with Dixon and Jasinski. Oh, and dispossessed of the ball is Pankratz. Quickly down the floor is Jasinski. Kingma rips a 3, shy and off the mark as Othniel Spence now, wearing 0, will be set the check in for Simon Fraser. Tough break there for Provenzano, loses his balance and surrenders the basketball. Kingma, 3 ball. Just off the front iron, and Sherman Newsom gobbles up the rebound there. Keeps it at 8 points as we're just past the 7-minute mark of this basketball game. Here's Kadar driving into a brick wall. They'll kick it back out with plenty of time on the shot clock. JJ thought about the 3 instead. Newsom working around Kadar for the 3, and he goes in and out, and a great rebound there out of his area by DeAndre Dixon. He'll get Jasinski down the floor, and trailing picks up the ball. Jasinski in a real mismatch there, height-wise against Provenzano. Another 3-ball hoisted. What a shot there by Trevor Jasinski. Knocks down the deep 3-ball. It's going to be Othniel Spence and Alex Brand just checking in for Simon Fraser at the next stoppage. Sherman Newsom, a good look from the baseline corner, couldn't knock it down. Jasinski with the rebound. Quickly down the floor, he finds Wallace. Back to Jasinski, wants another 3. Oh, off the front iron. Simon Fraser running out of success the last couple times down the floor. We'll see what they can do this time around. They are leading by 5. Newsom cutting, takes the pass from Kadar back up top to Mike Provenzano. He'll step back, the shot clock now down to 8. It's Provenzano using the Lewin high screen, instead kicking to Kadar, a little head fake here, and Kadar hoisting Not the possession Simon Fraser wanted. Couldn't get a shot in rhythm, and a tough contested three-point shot off the mark by Kedar Salam. Brad Wallace looking for Dixon. Dixon against Lewin. Ooh, and DeAndre Dixon's experience there, the one bounce and the pivot move gets Lewin out of his comfort zone, draws the foul, and we're going to shoot free throws after this timeout. Take a look at that Clan TV replay as the turnaround effort is good there. And I think the end one coming after this short timeout. Simon Fraser 19, Western Washington 14. Back with more from the West Gym in just a moment.
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor. It's tough for us to put it all on the line.
Don't undo my hard work with poor sportsmanship.
Respect. It's the name of the game.
For me, one word to describe competing for SFU is passion. Because to accomplish anything, you have to work for it. You need to love to work for it. My passion for basketball drives me to dedicate everything I have to it, day in and day out. I am Graham Miller, and I am proud to be on Canada's NCAA men's basketball team.
And right back with you at the West Gym. Howard Samura, Clan TV. Thanks for joining us for this Tuesday night special from atop Burnaby Mountain. Hope you are enjoying our broadcast of GNAC men's basketball wherever you may be on the World Wide Web. If you're a Clan alum, if you're just involved and enthusiastic college basketball fan, welcome to the NCAA's only non-US team, the Simon Fraser University Clan, here with a 19-16 lead as we approach the midway mark of this opening half of play. Jordan Muir-Keung, the Seattle transfer, now into the game wearing number 5, but right off the inbounds. Great look at the basket there by Jasinski. Would love to have that opportunity back. Swirls in and out of the cylinder, and Simon Fraser catching a break there to maintain their three-point lead. So Muir-Keung now into the game, spelling Provenzano at the point guard spot. Here's JJ, sees a seam to the basket. And there's some purpose there, but there's also some great physicality on his way to the basket. JJ doesn't give way with that added muscle in the offseason. And he goes right to the glass for the layup. 21-16, a 5-point lead for Simon Fraser as we tick down to the midway mark of this opening half of play. Dixon, great turnaround move by DeAndre Dixon. Big time basket for number 23 on the turnaround move in the paint. Dalton Hamas, number 25, will check in soon for Western Washington. This time, JJ for 3. Just off the mark on the quick hitter, and right down on the floor come the Vikings. They will hoist it and knock it down. And that's Jasinski. He's been the hot shooter here in the opening half for Western Washington. He knots this game at 21. 14 fouls against Simon Fraser, just 1 against Western Washington. Here's Pankratz, tried to go behind the back, gets stripped by Kingma, and Brett right down the floor, can't get the layup. Scramble for a loose ball, goes to Spence, off Neal very quickly, but a hand on the ball there by Brad Wallace. What a great job there. But running the floor hard is Alex Branges. And number 34 right underneath the basket for the layup to restore the Simon Fraser lead at 23-21. Here's Blake Fernandez. Wallace wants it in and out. Western Washington having a bit of trouble other than Jasinski knocking down the jump shots right now. Nonetheless, they're within 2 and have been together a nice spurt underneath the basket, and Branges wanted to squeeze that one, couldn't. And he is saying Simon Fraser basketball. See the officials call here. Pankratz will get his first rest of the game. Solid effort for JJ through the first 11 and a half minutes, and Kedar Salam now back into the game. Indeed, Simon Fraser basketball with a new shot clock. Kadar, a couple bounces, a post up, a swing out. This time it'll be Othniel for 3 off the handoff. Great job by Vrangis, hanging in there. Ooh. And a tough break there as Vrangis is learning. I saw him play his senior year of high school, and the natural rebounding ability and the ball sense is something clearly that has got him to the next level. He's learning the finer points of this, and as you see, Vrangis gets a hand on the basketball, contesting for a rebound, but reaches in with the other hand and gets called for the foul. Wallace up top to Blake Fernandez. Fernandez trying to fake out his check. Instead, they're going to go to Hamas with 6 on the shot clock. Now Hamas again, he's going to put up the 3 from the top, and it's a bit too strong there. And Kadar Salam with the rebound. Wallace out to guard Miurk Young, number 5. Othniel Spence now to Vrangis. Alex getting a nice extended stint on the floor here. Kadar, the turnaround move with the post back up top to Miurk Young, the reverse back to Salam. 6 on the shot clock. Kadar, Sherman Newsom wanted that one last pass to Othniel, and instead Fernandez playing some real heady defense, able to jump in the passing lane, and Othniel in the wrong place at the wrong time, forced to take the foul. So now 16 fouls against Simon Fraser. And a timeout on the floor. We will keep it here. And a great shot of the expanse of that MEI Screaming Eagles band by our Clan TV crew. They are occupying one full section here in the West Gym stands. And I was talking to Chad Joyner, their musical director, before this game, and I'm a huge music fan, a huge vinyl fan of LP records, and I was telling Chad Joyner all about the collection I have of collegiate marching band vinyl, and it's a real fun genre, subgenre I guess you would want to call it, to collect. My favorite one is, I gotta tell you, it's best marches of the Big Ten. Being able to listen to Michigan, Michigan State, Ohio State, those great marching band themes played by the full collegiate band experience is something else. And great music, and it's great to hear it being played locally at local events, and the MEI Screaming Eagles really pioneering all of that kind of stuff, and from some humble beginnings have really got some nice cachet here locally. And I'll tell you, when the provincial high school basketball championships are on, the MEI Screaming Eagles are always there, and they always add to the festivities, especially when they crank it up at the Langley Event Center, and that's where we're going to be for so many high school basketball games in the month of March. Catch and shoot, bingo! Knocking it down there is Brett Kingma. Kingma, a senior, coming off the bench and giving them some veteran leadership, and a great shot there, as Western takes a 24-23 lead here, 7 minutes remaining. Kadar right to the rim, and Salam goes off the glass to wrest the lead back for Simon Fraser. 25-24, 7 minutes to the break. Dreschel, number 5, back into the basketball game. Skip pass underneath the Dreschel by Hamas goes awry, and Simon Fraser with the basketball. Here's Provenzano. When he tried to finesse it, didn't work for Provenzano. Here's Kingma to Fernandez. Foul being called against Jordan Miurk Young. Really, if you want to get right into the details with the depth and the experience of this Western Washington team, watching Fernandez and Kingma, who come off the bench on this team, along with Brad Wallace. And this trio of guards steps right in, you don't notice anything. In fact, they're playing better than they were at the start of the basketball game. Well, these 3 guys on the floor, of course, Dreschel and Rojas, the other guards in that group, and they're starting. You see Trey Dreschel out there as they make 1 of 2. Game all tied at 25. And for the basketball purist, you see a Simon Fraser team which is riding a nice wave of confidence. Better than their 2-4 record will show, and any coach in the conference knows that, but they are playing the gold standard of the GNAC here tonight. And as Mir Kyung powers his way and is unlucky not to score, Simon Fraser forced to come back on defense. Ball is cross court to Hamas. Ooh, and loved away. Kadar Salam gets on the floor to pursue a loose ball, but it is going to go Western Washington's way. Take a look at those GNAC standings. We talked about the big three at the very top of those standings. Western Washington at 6-0 and Western Oregon at 5-1 have each won 6 straight in this conference. Seattle Pacific has won 3 straight, they're 4-2, and then after that, you've got 6 or 7 teams all grouped together as they get ready to play 20 conference games this season. Simon Fraser and Western Washington each playing their 7th of the season here tonight from the West Gym. Here's Dreschel. Jasinski with a jump shot won't go. What a great fingertip rebound that was there by Dixon. Provenzano, though, finds a way to corral a loose ball, fends off Kingma, goes right down the court, finds Salam. Post-up move now as Pancras with a turnaround move, and JJ, a good look at it, but comes up off the iron. Right down the floor, they will make you pay. That's why Western Washington is who they are. They turn your mistakes into instant points at the other end of the floor, and off the miss by Pancras on the post-up, Dixon right down the floor to score the basketball. So we'll keep it here during this brief timeout. And thanks for joining us again here at the West Gym. Of course, we want to let everybody know about our friends, those who help bring Clan TV to the air. And we'll start with Charter Bus Lines. They are the official motor coach of Simon Fraser University Athletics. They're proud to support Simon Fraser football and all Clan teams. Their dedication is to providing safe and comfortable transportation to your games throughout the region, the Pacific Northwest. Visit them at charterbuslines.com as well. The SFU Spirit Shop was looking at their tent on the mezzanine level today, and what a great selection of SFU branded clothing and merchandise they have. They're proud to support all SFU Clan athletic teams. Located at the Burnaby campus in the Maggie Benson Center. Pick up your SFU athletic swag today. Wear it proudly, Canada's NCAA team. 2-point lead here with 5 minutes remaining in the half. Western Washington, the 6-0 leaders in the GNAC with a 2-point lead. The Simon Fraser Clan every bit as good as they've shown the last week and a half here. Kingmother will get a steal and feed Hamas. DeAndre Dixon, the handoff to Kingma. Quick release off the shot. Kingma with a miss there. Great dish underneath. They go from Hamas to Dixon, and the big men underneath work it well for the dunk, and 29-25, a 4-point lead now for the Vikings. 4:31 to go. Our first key pressure point moment for Simon Fraser in this basketball game. Can they stay within shouting distance down the stretch drive? Dangerous pivot right into Kingma. The ball too low there as Salam makes the pivot move and Kingma strips him. I believe they called a jump ball there in the alternating possession. Simon Fraser will keep possession of the basketball. 12 on the shot clock. Oh, and Pancras soared for the dunk. Couldn't get the finish. And Dreschel with a give to Kingma right down the floor. Fast break baskets killing Simon Fraser. First Dixon, now Kingma, as the guys in blue from just south of the line go streaking down the floor for the easy basket. 6-point lead, largest of the game here for Western Washington. JJ facing elbow jumper, looked to be on mark but is off. And the rebound gobbled up by Dreschel. Trade to DeAndre Dixon underneath. Dixon, the turnaround move, and that one-on-one coverage. Dixon shredding it right now, and the lead nowadays, as we mentioned, a pressure point here for Simon Fraser, who have done so many good things, have led for most of this half, and now down the stretch drive of the first half, in danger of letting this slip away. Lewin Underneath Tyrell, nice move off that first bounce. Got to play with some decisiveness in your nature. And that's what Tyrell Lewin did right there. He answered for his team to make it a 6-point game. Provenzano came on the double quickly against Hamas. Hamas is picked off by Spence and Othniel, 2-on-1 down the floor. The numbers and the layup in the end one for Othniel Spence. What a great job. When you play the full 94 and the foul being called. Foul being called against Western Washington's Trey Dreschel as we take a look at the replay here in our Clan monitor. Cross-court pass picked off by Spence, who uses the numbers. A decoy goes underneath, and Dreschel gave it up, but he ran hard to try and prevent the play at the other end of the floor. Will draw the foul, but a big play for Simon Fraser. So 33-29, the Clan have clawed back to within 4 points. Very, very much in this basketball game against the gold standard in the GNAC. Some of the numbers we can give you thus far in this opening half of play. Simon Fraser shooting 48% from the field. Leading scorer in this game, no surprise, Kedar Salam shooting 5 of 9 from the field. He's 2 of 5 from beyond the arc. And as well for Simon Fraser, 6 points off 3 of 7 shooting for JJ Pankratz. The 2 double-digit scorers for Western Washington, they are DeAndre Dixon, who is 7 of 8 from the field. Dixon wearing number 23. You're watching him star in the paint. 7 of 8 for a game-high 14 points in 14 minutes. As well, Trevor Jasinski, number 24, his front court partner, is 3 of 6. He's hit 3 of 4 from the free throw line as part of that for 11 points. And remember, Western Washington today playing without Logan Schilder, their 7-foot junior, who has started all 14 games this season. But a sprained ankle is keeping him out of the lineup today. And Western Washington doing a bit of a positional realignment within their starting group. And the adjustments coming here as Spence makes a nice free throw there to complete the end one. It's a 1-possession lead for Western as we get down to 2:49 remaining in this opening half of play here from the West Gym. Here's the game's leading scorer, Dixon. Hand off to Dreschel, off the front iron. Spence working hard there to compete. Jump shot well off the mark there by the Vikings. It's Jasinski with a miss. Simon Fraser a little flat-footed in this possession. Shot clock is down to 10. Spence, and he's going to get called for a travel in the far corner, and that possession didn't inspire. And you can hear the Clan coaches shouting, "What are we running?" Looked like Clan players waiting for each other to take charge there in that last possession. That can't be the case here from a Clan perspective in the final 2 minutes of the opening half. Vikes with a 3-point lead, they put up a triple and they will make it a 6-point lead behind the long-range shooting efforts of Dalton Hamas. Hamas now with 7 points in this game. 36-30, 90 seconds remaining. Sherman Newsom quickly to Salam, quick catch and shoot, and Kadar will knock down a shot from just inside the arc. 36-32 the score. Salam now with 14 points in the game to lead all Clan scorers. Turnaround effort from Dixon's not going to go, and a rebound there for Spence. Provenzano wants to push the tempo with 1:12 remaining. He'd love to get a quick hit here. Spence thought about it for a second. He'll back up and hand off to Provenzano. Feeding in the post, undersized, doing what he can underneath. Sherman Newsom working hard to draw the foul underneath, but doesn't get the call. Clan coach is asking the officials how that wasn't a foul. 14 on the shot clock for Simon Fraser to maintain possession. Under a minute remaining. The Clan trailing by 4, and a basket here of any kind would be huge in the late stages. Pancratz for 3. Off the side iron quickly to Provenzano. So now about well, I can't do my math quick enough here. About 14 seconds between game and shot, so Western will get another opportunity. Shot clock's down to 19, 32 seconds left here. Provenzano getting instructions from the bench at half court. Shot clock now down to 10. Kadar with the basketball. Shot clock's down to 5. Kadar's gonna go. He's trapped. Oh, and he makes a nifty move underneath, but can't score it, and the shot clock will expire. Ooh, they get it back, so Simon Fraser in control here in the final 8 seconds, get another opportunity. And Provenzano, tough fading shot, off the front of the iron. The Clan can't convert, and that's gonna do it as a last second shot will be up and away by Western Washington. 36-32 the score. The Clan with a solid first half, trailing Western Washington by 4, undefeated Western Washington by 4 here at the West Gym. We'll be back with more. Actually, we'll stay with you and get ready for an interview here. I believe we're going to get a member of the Clan. Okay, we are not going to have one. We are instead, I'm being told, going to go straight to the MEI Screaming Eagles Marching Band. Enjoy the music, and we'll be back with more in a moment from the West Gym. I was just told we're not doing it right now.
Since signing with the Celtic, Sheeran has sold millions of records and become one of pop music's most prolific and sought-after songwriters. MEI's Screaming Eagles start tonight's performance with Ed Sheeran's Nancy Mulligan, a love story of his Irish grandparents, followed by Galway Girl, a hit title originally made famous by Steve Earle in the year 2000, and then again in 2017 by Ed Sheeran under the direction of Chad Joyner and Kara Friesen. Let's welcome the MEI Screaming Eagles Marching Band. Insurance spent most of his childhood years in the English countryside town of Framingham, Suffolk, before moving to London at the age of 17 to pursue a music career. He pays homage on this nostalgic punk rock number to his upbringing in the provincial Eastern England town. MEI concludes their performance today with Ed Sheeran's Castle on the Hill.
For me, one word to describe competing for SFU is passion. Because to accomplish anything, you have to work for it. You need to love to work for it. My passion for basketball drives me to dedicate everything I have to it, day in and day out. I am Graham Miller, and I am proud to be on Canada's NCAA men's basketball team.
Hi, I'm Michael Provenzano, and I'm the point guard for the men's basketball team. You know, basketball players are superstitious. We like to have a routine, and I've never really been into that whole, like, I'm not gonna wash my socks kind of thing. To quote my idol, Steve Nash, he always said, when I get into the lane, I need to find solutions. And I think that's exactly the way that I feel as someone who's a little bit under athletic, maybe not as quick, maybe not as tall. I think I need to be able to find solutions when I get in there and ways to score a little bit creatively. So before the game, I like to go through every kind of situation. I go through my ball handling routine, obviously, which, being a point guard, you got to handle the ball quite a bit. I do my form shooting and stuff, which is an important way to get warm and, sort of get your groove. But I also do very specific shots. I'm always going to get some kind of hook shot in, floaters, runners, fadeaways, some scoop shots, everything with both hands. And I think that those are some frequent shots that you'll see from me in a game, depending on the situation. What I try to do is I just try to fulfill my role. We've got a lot of guys who are in a lot of different roles, and I think that my job is to facilitate, put guys in the right positions to score, call the right plays, be loud, be a leader. I'm a passionate guy. I think it kind of shows a little bit with, sometimes I get into it, and maybe sometimes I get a little over the top, but I think that is part of my role. Definitely, I have pride in performance. I want to play well. I want to put myself in a position to play as best as I possibly can, and I feel like the best way to do that is to be prepared.
And welcome back on Clan TV, joined by Clan assistant coach Sean Shook. And coach, your thoughts on that opening half? You guys did just enough to keep yourselves in there down the stretch.
Yeah, I thought we did a good job early. We did offensively. Obviously, Kadar got going, and we kind of tried to ride him a little bit. Guys got a little fatigued, and we started settling. Up 19-11. Then we started settling for threes. Had a couple turnovers, and they're just too good to give them easy stuff going the other way in transition and take easy shots.
And their 7-footer is not even here today yet. They're still a very, very big basketball team. How have you made the matchups work thus far?
Sometimes we're just rolling the dice and hoping we can make the right subs at the right time, get the right guys on, and kind of the stuff we worked on yesterday in practice, and making sure we have some size and guys that are matched up equally on how we think they can defend.
Coach, thank you so much, and all the best in the second half. Sean Shook, Simon Fraser University, and back with you here. With about a minute and a half left before the half, we'll stay with you, and hope you're enjoying the broadcast here on Clan TV. Our thanks, as always, to Gabe Lynn at Center Control. I was suitably impressed on a short visit to Command Central here at the West Gym, watching that array of cameras covering the MEI Screaming Eagles band. We hope you enjoyed the halftime entertainment. Certainly the MEI Screaming Eagles bringing a lot of passion here to the crowd at the West Gym. Simon Fraser trailing 36-32. And you heard the comments of assistant coach Sean Shook, and really you boil a lot of that down to who's got the bigger heart in the second half, who wants it more, and are you going to be intimidated by this Western Washington size, or are you just going to go out there and try to make these matchups work for you? For the most part, Simon Fraser got the job done in that opening half of play, but you saw Western Washington with about 3.5 minutes left in that half start to come on, overtake the Clan and build a bit of a lead. Simon Fraser, credit to them, able to make a few key baskets down the stretch drive to stay within 4 points at the half. The key is going to be focus off the very start of this second half of play here on Clan TV. To run through the numbers, the two leading scorers for Simon Fraser and Western Washington, each with 14 points. They are Kadar Salam, 6 of 11 from the field with 5 rebounds. As well, DeAndre Dixon, the 6'7" forward, pushed in with something of a center role. He's pivoting a lot right underneath the basket. 7 of 9 from the field, 14 points for DeAndre Dixon. And a lot of interesting promotions happening around the West Gym, including haircuts today. And so donations going to a great cause here and stepping up and getting a good old-fashioned haircut. I went and got a haircut this morning, Gabe. I'm just talking to my producer, Galen. Went and got my haircut this morning, and I could have got my haircut here at the game today. So we're underway here now in the second half. As we mentioned, the 4-point deficit for Simon Fraser. They are defending. Western will step right up and knock down a shot to get things underway with Trey Dreschel. So that lead now pushed back out to 6 points, matching the largest of the lead for Western Washington. Largest of the game, check that for Western Washington. Sherman Newsom, Provenzano now with the basketball. Mike into the paint, and so much height. He's going to get called on the over and back and the turnover there, but boy, Provenzano drives, and the off guard is the 6-man Rojas, and he's number 10. And he's bringing 6'6" size there at the 2-guard spot. This is a very, very big Western Washington team. From wingspan to just good old-fashioned height, they have got the Clan outdone here. Simon Fraser playing with a ton of heart here, trailing by 6. Here's Dixon, turnaround move. This time in and out on a low trajectory shot on the baseline. Simon Fraser playing some catch on the perimeter here. Great drive in by Salam, is just off the mark. And they were looking for a foul there, whereas head coach Steve Hansen and company underneath the basket, and that happens, and you come away with nothing, and then right down the floor in transition, Rojas will score the basketball to make it 40-32, the 8-point lead, the largest of the game now. Here's Salam underneath, great dish underneath. Lewin needs to finish that. He's going to get an offensive rebound, and he will finish it. Lewin with 3 attempts underneath the basket. Missing on the first, missing on the tip, getting an offensive rebound, and putting it home to make it a 6-point game. Jasinski now to Dreschel. Trey working off the Dreschel high screen. They go to Dixon. Rojas. Dreschel with 4 on the shot clock, puts up the 3-ball, and the tip by Dixon doesn't go. Salam in transition. Kadar splits the defense, goes high off the window, can't get the roll there. And they'll keep it at 6 points. Big step there by Rojas, and Pankratz comes in, tries to stop the effort, and is going to get called for the foul in the paint. 2 shots coming up for Rojas. If you can hear head coach Steve Hansen right by our broadcast location imploring his senior guard Kadar Wright to continually take it hard to the basket. And if Kadar gets the ball in his hands, let's see if that happens. In the meantime, though, Rojas is going to sink some free throws and make it an 8-point Vikings lead. 6-0, and any kind of a lead they build in the second half makes them that much tougher. So the Clan needs to ease that burden a bit here with the basket. Pankratz in the half court up top to Sherman Newsom. They're closing at the top and really denying penetration, but Provenzano goes hard, and both times in, the Clan guards are going too high off the glass. They're being rushed on those shots as they get in close. Credit the Western Washington defense there. Here's Dixon on the baseline. Pankratz guarding him, but a cutter right to the basket for the layup makes it the first double-digit lead of the game, as Dalton Hamas will lay the ball up and in for Western Washington with a 44-34 lead. The lead now at 10 points. This game concluding a 3-game homestand for Simon Fraser. They'd love to make it 2-1, but this Western Washington team imposing, and they're taking the advice of his head coach, is Kadar Salam. Love to get another look at that one as he plays a confidence game with his handle, and then change of pace strong to the basket for the layup and the N1 opportunity. A big basket to make it an 8-point lead. This can make it 7. As Salam does some great job, some great work there with the basketball in tight quarters. 44-37, a 7-point lead for Western Washington. On the baseline, though, putting it down with authority, and that's going to be Trevor Jasinski. He will dunk the basketball to make it a 9-point lead. Simon Fraser, for the first time in this game, at the mercy of Western Washington in terms of tempo. Kadar would love to reestablish that from the elbow, too strong off the back iron. Ball ripped away by Hamas into the hands of the Vikings. Jasinski back to Dalton Hamas. Jasinski loves that shot, can't get it. Great effort for the rebound there, though, as Dreschel extends to take that basketball away from the Clan. Dixon cross-court 3-ball. Ooh, looks like a Clan foul down low on the drive on the baseline. And it's going to be JJ Pankratz, I believe, getting called for the foul. We'll have to see how many fouls now on JJ. I believe that's 3. Indeed, it is 3, and there's a timeout on the floor. We'll keep it here. 46-37 our score. Simon Fraser in a bit of a pickle here. Western Washington has done so many good things in transition, getting easy baskets, winning hustle plays on the floor for 50-50 balls, and just in general dictating the tempo here in this basketball game. And they have been effective as we look at the numbers. Simon Fraser shooting 41% on the game. Western Washington shooting an impressive 47.4%. Of course, the Vikes have come out and shot 4 of 8 from the field to start the second half. They're at 50%. Simon Fraser shooting 28.6%. They're 2 of 7 from the floor right now. Teams are a saw-off in the paint, each with 20 points in the paint. Points off turnovers virtually identical, and bench points virtually identical. So just a bit more efficiency on behalf of the Western Washington Vikings. Part of the key here, and Simon Fraser ran into this issue before. Simon Fraser has 2 free throw trips on this game. And we're almost 5 minutes into the second half. Just 2 free throw trips on the night in total for Simon Fraser. 2 by Spence and 2 by Salam. And we remarked after their December the 30th loss, their overtime loss to Seattle Pacific, that they were very much outdone in terms of free throw trips, and they had to get some urgency with regards to that. Here's Lewin reaching in, and he'll get called for the foul. Tyrell Lewin getting a call from his head coach to be more disciplined as he tried to knock the ball away. Instead gets called for his 2nd foul of the game. 13th foul of the half for the Clan. A Tuesday night special here from the West Gym. A healthy crowd in the MEI Eagles screening band as well. They're giving out free haircuts here in the gym. Just a great atmosphere overall for college basketball. Not too sure what was going on there, if that was an alley-oop pass or whatever Jasinski was attempting. Instead, it'll remain Western Washington ball with 20 on the shot clock. The inbounds, a quick shot is off the mark. Dixon skips it along the baseline. Simon Fraser certainly much improved and working hard for results in the win column that aren't showing at 2 and 4 in the conference. But having to play the Vikings at home, currently sitting with 6-0 record in the GNAC. No easy task. Here's Jasinski to kick back to Rojas for 3, and it'll go in and out, batted away by Hamas, but into the hands of Provenzano. Mike will reset the offense. We go to Salam up top to Sherman Newsom to Spence, so a real guard look on the floor right now for the Clan. Here's Salam. Sherman Newsom back to the basket. Tough fading shot is going to find favor. And Isaiah Sherman Newsom showing his versatility there in a post-up. He's basically playing the power forward spot in this group with Lewin in the middle and 3 guards. And Sherman Newsom's going to give height away, but certainly not heart in every matchup he faces here against this much larger Western Washington team, as we mentioned. Dixon sweeping. Hook shot is not going to go. Blocked from behind by Sherman Newsom, but Rojas sticks with it. And his second chance effort results in a putback. 48-39, a 9-point lead for Western Washington. Tyrell Lewin fighting for some real estate. Had a good look at it, but couldn't get it to fall, and he's upset with himself as he comes back down the floor. Lucky not to get called for a foul there. They go right down the floor to Kennard, and Kennard with the missed dunk. And right now, Simon Fraser just needs baskets. 2 missed dunks in this game. Simon Fraser lucky to get it back. Kennard rose off the hardwood here at the West Gym and wanted to slam it down, but was unable to do so. Jordan Muir-Kyung will come in, and Kadar Salam will take a seat number 11. So it's Spence, Muir-Kyung, Provenzano, Sherman Newsom, and Lewin on the floor right now for Simon Fraser. The jump shot rattled in and out for Othniel Spence. Dreschel, his 3 off the mark, but an offensive rebound. The Clan gotta clean those up. DeAndre Dixon got the offensive rebound. Simon Fraser lucky to not allow a second chance point in that situation. Dixon's been deadly in the low block tonight for Western Washington. It's Provenzano up top to Spence. Jordan Muir-Kyung. Here's Sherman Newsom spinning in the paint. The turnaround shot, oh, too strong off the back iron. A rebound by Lewin, though, recycle back up top to Sherman Newsom to Michael Provenzano. Provenzano, penetration, kick back out to Mir Keung. Here's Sherman Newsom for three. Just a touch a bit off there, and Simon Fraser cannot get in a shooting groove. They're trailing by 9 with 12 minutes left in the game. Jasinski on the block, turnaround move, squares up and finds favor. 50-39 is the score. Simon Fraser trailing by 11. We'll take a short break and be back with the rest of the second half here on Clan TV.
For me, one word to describe competing for SFU is pride, because every year my teammates and I push each other to do more than the year before. The amount of dedication and energy we have invested has propelled us to become a rising force in the NCAA. I am Michelle Waters, and I am proud to be on Canada's NCAA women's golf team.
And welcome back to the West Gym. It is the second half. Simon Fraser trailing 50-39. A look at some upcoming games for the Simon Fraser men's basketball team. On January the 11th, they will be on the road in Montana to face the Montana State Billings Yellow Jackets. A 6 p.m. start there. And then a pair of games in Alaska, starting with a January 18th game in Anchorage against the Seawolves, followed by a January 20th 3 p.m. tip, a special tip time there in Fairbanks, Alaska against the UAF Nanooks. As we get back to live action here. Simon Fraser coming out of that timeout really needs to reestablish itself offensively. They've done a solid job on the defensive end, but right now in the midst of a scoring drought, Sherman Newsom with that turnaround effort. You see the battle Simon Fraser is fighting right now. They're outsized in the block, trying to get things going with their backs to the basket. And it is a tough one with Pankratz right now battling a bit of foul trouble. They're saving him for the stretch drive here, although they won't wait too much longer. Getting JJ facing the basket in the half court and driving to the basket is going to be a key ingredient down the stretch here. I told you about those upcoming games as we look at a replay here on Clan TV. Simon Fraser certainly would love to have made some hay here at home with a couple of victories. It's going to be a tough one tonight. Certainly lots of time left, but Western Washington, their experience, their size, and their cachet on the national scene certainly evident here for head coach Tony Dominguez and company as they come north to Burnaby in search of their 7th win of the GNAC campaign, wanting to stay perfect in the conference. And right now, with that 11-point lead, some of the numbers we can let you know about. Leading the way for Western Washington, 3 players in double figures. Trevor Jasinski, number 24, leading the way with 13 points. DeAndre Dixon, number 23, with 12. And Dalton Hummus, number 25, with 11 points. Those 3 front court players getting it done for Western Washington as the 3 double-digit leading scorers. Kadar Salam leads all scorers in this game with 17 points. He's 7 of 16 from the field. Simon Fraser also with 6 points from Pankratz, 5 from Sherman Newsom, 4 from Tyrell Lewin, 3 from Othniel Spence, and a deuce apiece from Alex Frangis and Michael Provenzano. Provenzano with the ability to really score the basketball. It'd be great to see that happen here over the latter stretches. He is on the bench right now, though, along with JJ Pankratz and Alex Frangis, the 3 bench players right now who give way to these 5 starters. Jordan Muir-Kyung, number 5, one of them. Othniel Spence as well, so Isaiah Sherman Newsom. Here's Muir-Kyung to Kadar Salam. Salam went to the court But a great athletic move to the basket, high off the window, banking home for Othniel Spence. And Spence makes it a 9-point basketball game. Simon Fraser now needs to dig in their heels defensively. Deny those touches to Dixon, certainly easier said than done. Dixon going to the basket, looking for the basketball. Lewin's got to keep the ball out of his hands. The same with this guy here, Dalton Thomas. Underneath the basket, and those are the ones that kill you, the second chance effort. And that's a tough one as Dreschel gets an offensive rebound and a putback. Simon Fraser defends for the majority of the possession. Can't get it done. Then a quick three miss will let Western come right back down and try and build on this 11-point lead. Thomas, ball pops loose though as Kadar Salam slaps it up in the air. Clan coaching staff suggesting that the ball simply was lost and Western Washington actually gave it away themselves, but they will maintain possession. 19 on the shot clock as the ball is inbounded to Dreschel. Trey Dreschel's been impressive in the greasy areas. He's one of the guards. He's shooting 2 of 7 from the field, but he's got 10 rebounds. And there's another one if you want to start to write down the reasons why Simon Fraser is now trailing by 13 points. They are giving up second chance opportunities every time down the court. Then they're going to give up the easy one down the court. And no surprise at all as Steve Hansen has called a timeout. His team is trailing just like that by 15 points to Western Washington. With 9:43 left, the Clan's odometer looks to be a bit on empty here as they are losing energy and losing the battle against Western Washington, 56-41. We'll take a short break here and be back with more for the West Gym in just a moment.
When I first came to SFU, I thought I knew exactly what I wanted. When I got into my second semester, I suddenly wasn't so sure what I wanted to do anymore. So I started to explore a little bit. Archaeology, communications, history, even kinesiology. And then I decided to go on exchange to France for a year. I was an orientation leader for a year, became a community advisor in residence, helped start a choir. I even took a rowing course. After SFU, I have lots of possibilities of what I could do, but whatever I do, I know I'll be ready for it.
For me, one word to describe competing for SFU is tradition. Because year after year, players old and new step onto the court with a unified goal to strive to be the best. It is the belief that maintaining a winning tradition is a competitive battle worth fighting for. I am Sophie Swant, and I am proud to be on Canada's NCAA women's basketball team.
And we're back with you at the West Gym. That shot of the haircuts being given out here in the gym. Close shaves there, not so close down here on the court. 56-41 as our stat crew points out. 38-22 the advantage in rebounds for Western Washington as Kadar comes out of the timeout and makes some hay. He goes right to the basket on a wheeling play, lays it up and in, but 14 offensive rebounds in this basketball game for Western Washington. I would think the majority of them coming here in the second half. Western has been dominant in the second chance opportunities. 13-point lead, and Western with the basketball, feeding Dixon. His matchup against Kadar, he tries to dunk it, comes up shy, and Kadar gets the basketball, so Salam's going to win that battle. Little hesitation as Kadar goes to the glass, lays it up and in. So Salam with back-to-back baskets, he'll make a 15-point game, an 11-point deficit. So Salam had the assignment of guarding the 6'9 Dixon, but here's DeAndre. He can't score it down low, but he will step out beyond the arc and say, how about this? Knocks down the triple. Makes it a 59-44 lead. So DeAndre Dixon stamp all over this basketball game. Number 23, impressive from start to finish. Here's Pankratz back in the game. Quick turnaround hook shot. JJ couldn't find the mark there. 14-point deficit. Dreschel to Dixon. Skip underneath, and Jordan Muir-King doing his best to guard underneath, but looks like number 5 is going to get called for the foul. Indeed, he will. Provenzano and Spence into the basketball game. Salam and Muir Kyung, who picks up his second foul, out of the game. Simon Fraser now with 5 team fouls in the half. Rojas. Dixon now on the post. The turnaround slapped away by Pankratz, and JJ right down the floor. And again, you see the physicality that JJ can bring in flight. And that's going to result in a foul against number 24, Trevor Jasinski. You saw Jasinski just kind of bounce off Pankratz. Take a look at it here on our Clan TV replay. Pankratz with a nice reach in, and watch at the end here. Watch Jasinski really lowering the boom there on Pankratz. JJ getting a lot done with that that broad physique. He really chiseled it in the workroom, and I can let you know, varsityletters.ca, the place to go to read about all your BC high school and university sports news. I had the pleasure of sitting down with JJ Pankratz, and a story on Pankratz on the website right now at varsityletters.ca. Hope you enjoy that read on the commitment number 22 had to having his best senior season as possible. JJ Pankratz has done a great job, and our thanks to producer Gabe Lynn for letting me show the love for varsityletters.ca. We set up the weekend in high school boys basketball with a couple of big tournaments happening, especially the Legal Beagle and Chancellor Invitationals in the Lower Mainland. It's that time of the year. January will give way to playoff February and March Madness. And great to have the MEI Eagles, Screaming Eagles band in the gym tonight. Their sound letting us know it's that time of the year. A new calendar year means the best time in basketball. Simon Fraser's women's basketball team will be the subject on Clan TV this Thursday and Saturday. Hope you can join us for those games. A pair of 7 p.m. tips as the Clan ladies return from the road. The men, as we mentioned today in the Tuesday special, finishing up a 3-game homestand before they depart Montana State Billings and then a couple in Alaska. And at that stage, the GNAC season will reach its midway point at 10 games. Here's Pankratz. Ooh, the dribble got a little high there. JJ losing control, but Simon Fraser will keep the basketball. 19 on the shot clock. But a huge 14-point lead as Coach Dominguez going to his bench, and we talked about the effectiveness of those guards. Brett Kingma, the senior, now into the game for Western Washington, wearing number 3. He's out there with Brad Wallace, number 4. Jumper from Salam doesn't find the mark. And Rojas brings it across half court. Spence hanging with his man as Jasinski goes to the baseline, but the foul being called against Othniel, his second of the game, and that will be team foul number 6 for Simon Fraser. Rojas to Dixon and back to Rojas. Shot clock down to 8. Rojas, though, those are the kind of hoops that make your shoulders sink if you're part of that Simon Fraser bench crew. Right through the defense to lay it up and in, and a 16-point lead is the largest of the game. JJ was thinking dunk. He wanted to hold, and it's Western Washington basketball with 7 minutes remaining. You feel the tiredness in your bones a little more when you're the one losing close games as opposed to winning them. And even though Western Washington is a traveling team today, Simon Fraser, there is an emotional hurdle to have to come through. Losing in overtime at SPU and losing at the buzzer, basically, as Wallace knocks down the elbow jump shot. Losing at it with a 1/10 of a second to Northwest Nazarene on Saturday. Try and swallow both of those and be 4-2 instead of 2-4. It's a tough one for the Clan, and having to play the cream of the conference certainly makes the 3-game homestand a tough one. Here's Kingma right down the floor to lay it up and in. The lead now 20, and it's all Western Washington here in the final 6 minutes of play from the West Gym. Once again, though, on a great standpoint of fan ownership of this Clan team, they are coming out in nice numbers here in the West Gym. The last 3 games have seen the stands filled and the standing room areas also filled, so very nice support here for the rising fortunes of this Clan team. Unfortunately, not showing in the win column. But there's no question this is a vastly improved basketball team to last season. Here's Wallace, elbow jumper for him, is gonna swish. And there's no stop in Western Washington down the stretch drive right now. Provenzano tried to get a floater to go, and that attempt to finesse baskets is not working for Simon Fraser. They're down by 22. And they're giving up baskets that are not typical of the team defense they have played over the course of this homestand. We're seeing a lot of deterioration, a lot of tiredness here from this Clan team. As you saw Wallace with a wide open layup on the baseline. Here's Spence. Underneath, can't get it to go. Lewin's shot underneath, and Tyrell muscles nicely to get a basket to go with 5 minutes remaining in the game. Western is going to turn it over and give the Clan another opportunity. Kadar quickly down the floor against Kingma. And they're going to call Kingma for the foul. So Brett Kingma picks up his first foul of the basketball game. He, Wallace, and Blake Fernandez played a nice stretch of minutes in that opening half of play for Western Washington. Right now, Wallace remains on the floor along with Kingma. Alex Franges, number 34, into the game. Manning the low post for Simon Fraser. The ball batted out of bounds by Dixon. See, it went off the Clan. Kingma puts up a 3. Jasinski battling underneath with Sherman Newsom. Jasinski battling in traffic. Franges getting a nice defensive rebound. So Jasinski takes a foul. Western Washington 5 team fouls now in the half as Trey Dreschel will check back into the basketball game for Dixon. Smile on Dixon's face as he comes off the floor. He's had a great game and certainly affected the fortunes of his team here today as Western Washington looking to remain perfect atop the GNAC standings. Game number 7 of this campaign, this conference campaign for both teams here tonight. Kadar falls through the floor and tries to penetrate through Dreschel. Dreschel will turn it over himself. Quickly, Kadar now back with the basketball. He takes it right at Jasinski, lays it up and in, and the block called, and the N1 opportunity awaiting for Kadar Salam, who today was named the GNAC Player of the Week. A big honor for Simon Fraser's number 11. And the telltale signs of a tired basketball team playing a veteran foe as we watch Kadar take it right at an unprepared Jasinski there as he set in to draw the charge. It'll go the other way and Kadar will shoot from the stripe when we get back from this timeout. So Simon Fraser going with an 8-man rotation and finishing off this 3-game homestand, simply looking outclassed down the stretch drive here by Western Washington. Blown assignments have led to easy baskets. And when the Clan still had an opportunity here, the big sign was the lack of ability to go grab defensive rebounds. Out-hustled by Western Washington, and Western Washington, give them credit though, they are a much more experienced team with a lot more height, and Simon Fraser Every team has its breaking point, and they were just unable to compete for those loose balls underneath. Simon Fraser, though, for much of that opening half of play, showed what they could do when they were able to get out and dictate the tempo in the basketball game. And against a much larger and experienced opponent, Simon Fraser was controlling tempo. And I would say that that stretch went on for a good 14 or 15 minutes in that opening half of play. So some good things to take away if you're Simon Fraser. And you think about the two of the top three teams in this conference are Western Washington and Seattle Pacific, teams Simon Fraser has played in the last 2 weeks. To varying results, obviously, but that ball's going to go out of bounds. The margin now at 19 points. Certainly we've seen the emergence of this senior core. It's one of the positive signs Simon Fraser can take out onto the road for 3 games. Sherman Newsom, Kadar Salam, and JJ Pankratz forming a nice triumvirate for this Simon Fraser team, the big 3 seniors. They set the bar for the guys that follow them, the guys that will be taking the mantle of leadership on this team next season. We're talking about the likes of Jordan Muir-Keung, Othniel Spence. Of course, there are a load of Clan redshirt players. There's, I believe, 5 or 6 players. Some of them coming off pretty nice high school careers here in the province of BC, as well as the states of Washington and Oregon. So looking forward to that. As you see the guys there on the bench, including Vancouver College's Sam Bailey among them. And Sam, who just turned his head, had a very, very healthy career for the Fighting Irish. And it'll be great to see Sam Bailey in Clan colors next year as well. Keegan Kahn of Holy Cross and Surrey, explosive guard who has blue chip speed. Hopefully he'll be able to make an impact as a redshirt freshman. Dixon's attempt to flush, falling short. Kadar trips over the center line. Salam has been an absolute warrior here for Simon Fraser over the last 3 games. And I think if fans decided they wanted to watch one game and decided to come back for all 3, certainly they loved the play of number 11 and what he was able to show them. Kadar last season an accomplished scorer, but this season has taken it to a whole new level. And of course, that victory over Central Washington, so impressive. Kadar with 40 points in that game. Dixon gets an offensive rebound, and that has been the tale of Simon Fraser's game. If you could take out one aspect and try to even it out a bit, it would be those offensive rebounds, the recycling of possessions, and the ability for this Western team to get second chance opportunities. There's Rojas going right to the basket. He's going to get called for the offensive foul with 2:23 remaining. Sion Rojas, 19-point lead though for the guys in blue, and a short drive back. It'll be a happy drive back to Bellingham for the Western Washington Vikings, who came in without their 7-footer as we watch the replay here on Clan TV. Logan Schilder, the 7-foot junior who had started 14 straight games. In fact, Western Washington had started the exact same starting 5 for 14 straight before tonight. They go on without their big man in the middle. There's Ranges scoring a basket. And they have adapted just fine in the early stages of this game. Simon Fraser taking advantage of their battle to find some new chemistry down in the block. There's Wallace sweeping lay-in, attempt off the window, doesn't go. It's going to go out of bounds and be Simon Fraser basketball. We're under 2 minutes remaining, 1:41 left in this one. Great to see the MEI Screaming Eagles. Chad Joyner, their director here at the West Gym today. And certainly rousing national anthems and some great halftime entertainment from the Screaming Eagles tonight. And Sherman Newsom puts up the shot. Simon Fraser, when in the zone, can knock down the triple and take over games, but it has not happened here tonight. course, we looked on a couple of occasions at those GNAC standings, and with all of that parity, certainly not using it as an excuse not to put urgency in the early part of the schedule, but the opportunity is not going to leave Simon Fraser after tonight. They played quality basketball for huge stretches in the early part of this season and have to obviously build on that. As we mentioned, game number 7 of 20 tonight here, that 3-game road trip, and they return to face Seattle Pacific. It's going to be the start of the second half of the GNAC season, just like that. Campaign moves along quickly. Of course, one more game this week, followed by those 2 in Alaska. So the schedule will offer a bit of a respite, although it's going to include road travel up north to Alaska. Under a minute remaining. Underneath Vrangis, this time gets rejected. All swatted away by Hamas underneath. As we get down to 30 seconds remaining, these teams just counting down the seconds. Western made their big push at the start of the second half. They started it late in the first half, but in earnest really early in the second half to take over this basketball game as Wallace takes the 3-ball in and out. With 15 seconds remaining. Shot clock off, and perhaps the Clan's last offensive foray of this game is Kadar goes around his man underneath for the lane. 7 seconds remaining. Our thanks to everybody on the Clan TV crew here. All those manning the cameras and getting things done for us here, for our producer Gabriel Lynn, for SFU Sports Information Director Steve Frost, and everyone associated with Clan TV. The final score from the West Gym: Western Washington 69, Simon Fraser 54. For everybody on the crew, Howard Samura bidding you farewell and be back with you again on Thursday.